Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. I'm just waiting for Olayemi to join us. He was about to join us. He's having some technical difficulties. I'm just trying to connect him. He will join us shortly. He has just texted me that he's trying to join. In the meanwhile, we can discuss about something which is really important and it's a good thing for teachers community. Some of you have heard about the Teacher Tech Summit, which is happening on March 25th and 26th, and registrations are open. Themes are really great. So, if you want to upskill yourself and upgrade your teaching and learning practices, do join this event. And T4 is a very prestigious platform, and this is one of the biggest EdTech event of the year. So, do not leave this opportunity and just grab it. Registrations are open in different languages. It means you're going to see uh, following languages when you will watch the video. So it will be helpful for the learners, those who are not native speakers of English. And I look forward for your participation in this event. It's a free event, but the quality is amazing. So do join this event. Let me see whether he has joined or not. I can't see him joining us. I'll again check. Good evening, Jasmine. Good evening, Yasin. And good evening, Ranjana. I'm still waiting for the presenter to join in. He's facing some technical difficulties, probably a bad network, and he's just trying to join. We can wait for some more minutes to allow him to join us. We have some T4 education ambassadors with us. Jasmine is there, Ranjana is there, and yeah. So I was just talking about that event, Teacher Tech Summit. So there are many great educators who are a part of it, and we all advocate it because it gives a quality content to teachers and that too free of cost. I will drop I'll just drop the link in the chat box. So if you have some time, try exploring the website of T4 and try registering for it. It's really a great opportunity. I think Olayemi is having hard times joining us. Yes, tech is unpredictable. He's trying from two devices, but he is unable to connect with us. In the meanwhile, let me ask a question. What do you mean by inclusive education? What comes in your mind? What was the first thing that came to your mind when you heard or saw today's topic that effective teachers are inclusive? What is something that came to your mind? Use the chat box to let me know your thoughts. A very good point from you, Jasmine. Yes, differentiated instruction to cater to the need of all the learners. I'm just waiting for him and I can't see him joining us. Well, when we talk about inclusive education, it is basically about the learning environment. When we talk about the learning environment, it is both the physical environment and the environment that teacher creates inside the classroom, right? It promotes the full personal and professional development of all learners. I repeat, all learners. What does it mean? Not only the front benchers, but the entire class. The slow learners, the struggling learners, the learners who learn differently, the learners who are God gifted, and the learners who have disabilities, irrespective of the learning style and the languages they speak. So it means reaching each child. So this is one of the beautiful definition of inclusive education. Children who learn together live together. It means creating an environment where there is a feeling of belongingness that yes, we all are together in this and each child of my class can, reach the full potential. So believing in that spirit. Some of the principles of inclusive education includes that no discrimination with student. We all know that each learner in our classroom is unique and different. Equal educational opportunities to all. The school adapt to the need of the student. Like not in a way that learning for testing, but meeting the need of the student so that all student can excel. equal educational benefits for all students. When we talk about discrimination, we actually, talking about the area when the educational benefits are confined to the few learners of the classroom or the few, classes of the social hierarchy. The school views are listened to and taken seriously. The students' views are taken into account. They have a say in their learning. How do they want to learn? What is something they're interested about? And individual differences between students. We cannot keep them in one single scale. They all are different. We all know that no two learners in our classroom walk with similar kind of prior knowledge, same cultural background. They are very diverse, but they all are capable. And diversity is not a problem in an inclusive classroom. Some of the aspect that are coming up, like when we talk about the gender ratio of the children attending schools, right? So female non-disabled, male disabled, and female disabled, this is the ratio. This is quite alarming, right? So again, we need to look into what is the scope of inclusive education. If we are really talking about inclusive education, then we are reaching to the areas where education is unable to reach. So children in the remote tribal areas, working children, those who are the victims of child labor, children with disabilities. It is very important to make school inclusive for such children, those who are having disabilities, and all other children. Girls living in different difficult circumstances, children with chronic illness or diseases like HIV, children of migrants, street children. So these are some of the issues that came to my mind when I was thinking about this topic. What are your views? Why is it so important to discuss this topic, and what we can bring as a change when we talk about inclusive education? Why are we discussing it today? Meanwhile, you can try answering the question again. I'll check back to the screen. He's still not here. So, the need and importance is like to fulfill the constitutional responsibilities. Yes, we have some constitutional responsibilities and also human responsibilities to enable children to stay with their families for the development of healthy citizenship. We cannot just pick up few learners and make them good citizens. We need the entire generation, the forthcoming generation, the upcoming generation to be well educated and have the traits which will make them a better learner for achieving the universalization, developing feeling of self-respect, for social equality and making them more self-reliant. What should be the objectives of such education? As I told you, that reach each child and teach each child. So, education for all, protection for rights. Only educated citizen, well informed citizens know how to protect their rights so that they live a life of dignity. Identification of skills, like say in a classroom there is a wonderful picture on the internet where a teacher is telling an elephant to climb a tree, a bird to climb a tree, a snake to climb a tree. So this is how we see in school that we do not identify the skills of the children, and we all want them to fit in one size. Again, development of the social consciousness, making them more resilient and helping them to prepare for new challenge. Development of the brotherhood, yes. Development of a fraternity which has a sense of belongingness to improve quality education. It's again very important SDG 4. What are some of the problems faced by students? Can you come across any student who is disengaged and not concentrating in the class? Have you seen any such learners in your classroom? What are the major problems that you observed in the classroom? So, what are the problems that are faced by students in your classroom? I'm sorry the presenter did not join, so I'm just trying to understand and gain perspective about this wonderful topic. I'm still waiting for him to join in. In the meanwhile, just tell me what are the problems that the students faced in your classroom? I have a question from, I think, Jasmine. Jasmine, it's a wonderful question. Actually, tech help us in inclusive learning because children learn differently, right? They have different learning styles, so we can support the auditory and visual learners. We can do differentiation in a more better way. It saves a lot of time because teachers spend a lot of time in correcting, you know, all those things which are being done on pen and paper. But if we use tech, so we can see the data and look through it, scan through it in minutes. So it helps a lot. If a child learns better through audio, we can have um, help them to listen the test in the audio format. If a child learns better through video, they can see the same learning content in the video format. If we want to differentiate the content, we can do so. If we want to differentiate the pace of the learning, we can do so. If we want them to relook at some of the learning content in the self-paced mode, they can do that. I hope I was able to answer. Yes, a lot of student are feeling alone, and they're feeling overburdened. They have the screen fatigue. So all those things are now bringing us more challenges. When they were in the classroom, they were in close contact and we could do something. But now there is a barrier. For example, in Bangladesh, we are again back to the online classes. So yes, I can completely relate with you, Jasmine, that students and all of us are going through a hard time. Let me go back to the presentation. Well, if you can see in the picture that whatever they do in the classroom is actually the outcome of something happening in their lives, right? Probably they're isolated. Probably they have no one to support at home. Probably they are the victim of domestic violence. Probably they are finding the homework very difficult. So when we see a child, we need to, completely diagnose the issue before making a judgment. This is very, very important. What are the major problems faced by the student? It's like inferiority complex, lack of understanding, adjustment problem, isolation and segregation. They're lagging behind, they're not meeting the benchmarks, they're feeling overburdened, they have a lack, sense of insecurity. They do not get chance to express because teachers are running a rat race to complete the content. They are introvert in nature, they have a negative approach and they're shy, right? Some of the students, they don't want to even switch on their camera and say it whatever they have to say. So in that case, tech also enable several tools. For example, in such cases, teachers can use different tools like Google Jamboard, so that students, those who are feeling challenging to articulate their understanding orally, they can go back and write their point of views, write their perspectives. What should be the role of teacher? This is the most important part. Interaction with the family. Teachers should be a problem solver. If we talk about an IB teacher, because I belong to IB community, we have three most important characteristic above all. We are leader, we are facilitator, and we are learners. Right? So one thing that we need to have, that having a good relationship with the families. Because if all the stakeholders are working together for the betterment of the learners, definitely we will get better results. Then, ability to solve problems. Students are not learning, but why? How can they learn better? These are the questions we should ask. We all know that they're not learning, but what are the next steps? What can we do to develop new learning strategies instead of following the age old methods? right? I observe that chunking of teaching material works really well. Do not run a race of deliver the content, rather divide it into small digestible chunks that students can understand, grasp, and can relate with. To be able to develop self confidence, to provide special facilities, like nowadays schools have special educators. Teachers, not all teachers are special educators, but at least an access to a special educator in each school will help us to solve all these problems. The special educators can give enough PDs to teachers so that they can identify such learners who are facing such difficulties and can help them to be able to look after their personal needs, to recognize their hidden talents. Yes, each learner is unique, each one is talented and capable to do miracles. To inculcate positive attitude in the able bodies children. Right? We all know that having a fixed mindset that I can't do it, you can't do it, it's not going to help us out in long run. There's a huge potential in each learner of our classroom, but how to approach them? This is the question that we all should ask, and we don't have answer. There is no one right answer for that. So some of the teaching strategies that has come up really well is cooperative learning. We can do it in the online setting as well. As Jasmine asked and I replied, there are various tools which helps cooperative learning, right? There are flip grids, Wakelet, Padlet, where learners can see each other's work, comment on each other's works, and also send positive feedback and feed forward. Tutoring is very much possible. Give them the agency to articulate their understanding. Give them the ownership and leadership so that they can articulate what they are learning in the classroom. Multisensory teaching. As I just said, that technology will help us to cater to the needs of diverse learning abilities of the learners. Another thing which is very important, we cannot expect a teacher sitting in a school of 60 students in a class to effectively teach them and reach each learner. So, size of a class, teaching aids, restriction of time, arrangement of light, the ambience of the classroom. The classroom environment should be conducive. There should be an opportunity to play and freely move, free movement, attention to physical needs, and special attention to disabled children. Before admitting them, we need to just cross check, are we really well equipped to support their needs? Right. Some of the reforms in the curriculum is like use of teaching aids, simple curriculum, adequate facilities, participation in games. Right, play is the best form of learning. Cooperative curriculum, providing reading material, and reading material that too designed in such a way so that each learner can learn on his or her own pace. Newsela is a great tool, and we have variety of materials and various platforms which are providing tailored reading material, participation in co curricular activities, multi level and flexible curriculum. When we talk about multi level and flexible curriculum, it acts as a container, right? One learner in the classroom can be on a scale 3, and another learner can be on a rating 5. So it's all about where the learner is and meeting them where he or she is and helping them to grow a level up. Through all these things, we can achieve an inclusive classroom. Hello, hello, Olayemi.
Hello. Yeah.
I was,
Hello.
I was, hello. I can hear you. How are you?
Okay. I'm fine.
Yeah, I was just taking them through a little presentation that I had, and we were just discussing about inclusive education, the topic of today. So we have with us today's
Okay.
presenter, Mr. Olayemi, and he's joining us all the way from Nigeria. He is vice principal of a prestigious college. He is also a T4 country ambassador, and we were also talking about the T4 Teacher Tax Summit. And he is also MIE certified person. And we a very warm welcome to you, Aliami. And I'm really loving the topic of today, that effective teachers are inclusive. So we can't wait to hear from you, and we have already waited a lot. So let's get back to you and let's get started. Welcome, Olayemi. Please introduce yourself and let's get started.
Opportunity given to me to talk to you or share my view on this topic. And the theme is timely and it is in a need to be dealt with the utmost serious attention. And during COVID-19 pandemic, the global educational system and structure was truncated and also collapsed. At some point, some well-organized and structured institutions around the world moving into the online teaching. And this one posed a lot of challenges to some institutions around the world who cannot effectively use online system, especially the African continent. And I was so happy with this team. Effective teaching is inclusive. All right. Effective teaching is inclusive. I want you to overview what I want to present to you all. All right. One is that what is inclusive in teaching? And two, how can inclusive teacher be effective? Three, why inclusive teaching is important? And four, is inclusive teaching effective? And what are the qualities of effective teacher in the inclusive learning? All right. What is inclusive in teaching? And I put it here, I said, inclusive teaching means teaching in such a way that respect the diversity of the students in the classroom and ensure that different student learning needs and preferences are met regardless of their background, learning style, and ability. And I want you to underline the three concepts there, or three salient points: the background, the learning style, and ability. Because the aim of a teaching is to impart knowledge in order to remove any barrier that will prevent students from learning, in as much they are in a surrounding, in a learning environment. Now, let's look at this background, learning style, and ability. Background. There are many backgrounds in which students are coming from today. Some are coming from poor background, some from rich background, some from learned background, some are from lettered, some are from cultural discipline, the profession. You know, sometimes some people say those people that came from where they have a volatile or big profession, they tend to be good and better in some area, like medicine, because their father or their relative or their family, they are into that line. But I want to tell you that irrespective of this background, if you can take the cognizance of this background, there is no any shared opinion or have a mindset that this set of people cannot be effectively good in this area. We can achieve our goal. Number two is the learning style. You know, in a set of a classroom where we have like 10 students, automatically we will have a slow learners, we have a fast learner, we have an introvert, you have extrovert, but all of them cannot learn at the same time. And that is why there is a need for a teacher to study the environment, to study the student very well, to know the particular learning style that each student, because they came from different background, they cannot learn at the same page. They cannot move at the same page. Some are slow learner and you have to take them along because they are going to be exposed to the same exam at the same time. Number three of that salient point is the abilities. Some, you need to re-emphasize the concept of your teaching time with that number. And some, they have a coping ability, some they have a readiness ability, some they have an excellent ability, some they have retrieve abilities. Once you are able to give them on the moment of the teaching, 2 days, 3 days, a year, call them, they will tell you verbatim the way you said it and why. Some, as you said it, after 10 minutes after that teaching, ask them, they could not even say a word. And at the same time, they are in our class. We don't need to abandon them. We need to encourage them because they are the future of the tomorrow. All right. Now, I said that all these should not be mentioned in an inclusive environment, in an inclusive level, because all their differences must be taken care of. Whosoever, once they are in our class, we need to study them. The next one is, how can inclusive teacher be effective? As a teacher and in a class, have 22 or 20 students in your class. How can you be effective? And I put it down all these points that an inclusive teacher will be very effective if or she can do the following things. One, know your student and give them opportunity to know you the same. Mere knowing their name is not the knowing. That's not the knowing. You have to know each student by their ability, each student by what they like and what they don't like, and also give them opportunity to know you the same. What do I mean by that statement? Yes, I'm Olayemi by name, a math teacher, and they know me that I'm Olayemi, a math teacher. Do they know me when I'm angry? Do they know me what I can easily accept? Do they know me when I'm ready to teach? These are the concepts that an inclusive teacher need in order for them to be effective. You should give them opportunity. Every student in your class, you should not have a favorite. You should give the opportunity to know you in and out so that the learning can be inclusive. The learning can be motivated to them. Number two is that you should create a safe place for the student to share their mind. In fact, I love this concept. Many teachers today, our students cannot share their mind with them. And the first society, apart from their family, where they will come together like the world, is a school. And once they are in an environment, can they work towards us and share their mind, what they are passing through? Why did they have the challenges? Why did they not pass that expected grade? Why are they failing? Why are they having challenges? Do we give them the space to share their mind? As a teacher, you are their parents at that moment. Between the hour they are with us, we are their parents. We should study them. All the three aspects of learning, the cognitive, the affective, and psychomotor, you should be one, and also should be a local a counselor, a mini counselor to them. Therefore, they should work on us also. Hello, sir. This is what I am passing through. Even something happened to them in their home, they should be able to relate, and that is how we can find solution. But if they cannot express their mind, how can we know how to help them? Therefore, we should give space. We should create avenue for them. And number three is that we need to deliver our instruction in a variety of ways. What instruction am I talking about? The content you are giving to the student. We need to do it in a variety of ways. You cannot use one method of teaching and you expect every student in your class to grasp it. Or no, it's not possible. Some they need play away method. Some they need cooperation. You need to group them before they can learn. Some you need to call them on your table and explain better. And these are those instructions that you need to do in a variety of ways. And number four is that you choose relevant textbook for your subject. When you are taking a particular subject like social study, let me say elementary science, choose a subject that is, choose a textbook that is relevant to them, relevant to their society, relevant to their community, so that they can easily get the example within their environment, relate it with their environment before to the global world. What is in their environment? It is better that our instructional method, like they said, we should improvise. Now, what is affecting them in their environment? Your textbook should be able to take care of that. I am in Nigeria now. I want to relate to them. I should make example, even before I had another example from other continent. Right there in Nigeria, what is happening? They should know the concept, what is happening in their immediate environment, and that is why it's better for that teacher, for he or she to be effective, to choose relevant text for the subject is taken. And the last one is that we should share your successful story about the people in that field. Yes. Now, I know a professor of art and I'm taking art. Why not invite the person like what we are doing? Let them be in a class. How do you get to this place, sir? How do you get to this place? There are a lot of challenges. But me inviting those people in that field, they will know that, oh, there is somebody ahead of me. And if this man or this woman can be able to get to this boundary, definitely I can get to that boundary. Therefore, you invite some people in a class because teaching has gone beyond just four wall of classroom. It has gone beyond that, just write on the board, come and write. No, it has gone beyond that. Let them see, and what they see, what they taste, and what they touch, they will remember for life. Call them and let them share their experiences. It's not, everything is not about good experiences. Some they have bad experience, but they will learn from that place so that once they made a mistake, there is a way out. The mistake is not the end of the journey. That is, if the teacher can be able to apply all these principles, all these points, it will be effective in inclusive learning. Now, why inclusive teaching is a very important one. I want to mention three things. Why is it important? Now, inclusive teaching is very important because of these three things. One, the system provides a better and quality education for all children, irrespective their background, irrespective their location, irrespective where they are coming from. Because, and they are the instrumental in changing discriminating attitude. Once they are in the same classroom, give them the same opportunity, they will not feel fidgety, they will not feel embarrassed, they will not feel that, oh, I'm being separated from the class. Therefore, they will see, they will learn better way in that inclusive teaching. Number two, the school provide the context for a child, the first relationship outside the family. After the family, whether they have two children, three children, the father and the mother, the first environment, the larger society that the child will be exposed to is a school. And therefore, the relationship in that environment will determine how far that child will go. If the relationship in that environment is hostile, it will affect the child forever, for life. Therefore, the school should provide a content for a child that will make him to be very useful and acclimatize himself in the environment he or she find himself. And this one can only happen when there is an inclusive teaching, when there's no segregation, when there's no separation. And number three is that it will enable development of a social responsibility and interaction. Now, the COVID-19 brought us together, my host. If not for COVID-19, I may not know you. COVID-19 brought us from T4 ambassador. Now, I can relate to you now, I can talk to you. That is exactly what is happening. It will make them to develop social relationship. And apart from educational relationship, the social relationship is another engagement outside the classroom, and which they have to learn from classroom setting. And if it is not inclusive, they cannot learn from that aspect. All right. Is inclusive teaching effective? Is it effective? Yes, it's a question. I said effective model of inclusive or teaching not only benefit to the only disability, but also create the environment in which every student, include those who are not disability, have the opportunity to flourish. Yes, it is effective because we've practiced it here that there is nobody, whatever you get, you be in the group, wherever you are coming from, whether you are coming from low income earner, high income earner, you sit together, you are exposed to the same opportunity. Not that once you are brilliant, once you are this one, you are exposed to the same thing. And not only that, what this one is effective because of what you make the children to flourish together, give them the same opportunity, whether they are disabled, in their ability, because there is ability in disability. There is ability in disability. And encourage them from that disability, they can do more than those are able. Therefore, give them the free opportunity, the same opportunity for those who are disabled and those ones that are able. They will learn from that and they will flourish together. There will not be disparity in the nearest future. That is why inclusive teaching is very effective. Now, I said here is part of that subtopic that successive inclusive teaching happen primarily through this model. I tag it as AUA model. Number one, accepting. Number two, understanding. Number three, attending. Now, do you accept the children the way they are in our classroom setting? Do we understand their educational needs? Do we understand their social needs? Do you understand their family background needs? Some of them, they came from background where they cannot learn appropriately if we cannot do something better to assist them. And that is why I said there is a three aspect or a model that I would like us to use. That accepting. Do we accept them? When they are in our class, they are children. Do we accept them like that? Do you understand their need? Do you know their need one after the other? Can you put them where they belong to according to their need? And then the last one, do we attend to their needs? Because if you are not attending, we have identified, we understood, but we are not attending to the need. Therefore, we are not doing anything. What are we giving them? That's why give ultimate attention to their needs. And once you give ultimate attention to their need, they will feel among. They will love the environment. They will, even if they are disabled, because of that, what they have done to them, they will feel happy. They will not feel cheated. And that is why this model is very good if you can just go through it, accepting them, understanding their need, and attending to their need. And this, I have explained this one, that what they need, I said the AU model can be used effectively to study student differences and diversity through this following way: their physical need, their cognitive need, their academic needs, their social needs, their emotional needs. And I would like to talk from that emotional needs because that is a giant among them. When a student is not emotionally stable, whatever you are giving is nowhere to be found. The emotional aspect, that is why once they are in our class, you are teaching, every or sense organ must be active. A student is not responding. Have you worked like accepting, understanding? Have you worked upon to that child and asked, why are you not coping? What is the problem? Therefore, the emotional need is a part of the UA model that we need to take note in our classroom setting if really you want to talk about inclusive teaching in our classroom. And also, the academic need, how are they performing? Do you have a grade for them? Do you have a group for them? No, this one is not. No, there is something that we need to use to motivate them. Not like, okay, in this test or in this particular assignment, if you are able to score this, you are moving to this one and I will motivate with this one. If there is something in a place that we can use to motivate, there are some students that when they hear something of motivation, they practice better, they do better. The only thing that the teacher must be faithful to that promise. Therefore, if we can follow the physical need, the cognitive need, academic need, and social need and emotional needs of the student relating to the model I use, I know the inclusive teaching will be very effective. Now, what are the qualities of the effective teacher in an inclusive learning? What are the qualities? Number one is that effective use of your time. Time management. Time management. How do we use time? How do we use time with respect to our students? It is part of it. Number two is that good relationship with students. In fact, there's nothing that will make inclusive learning to be very effective if we don't have good relationship. Yes, irrespective of their culture, the one of the principles that will make our learning to be more effective is a good relationship. Because when we have the good relationship, they tend to open up their mind to us. Yes, relationship with students, relationship with themselves, that is peer. And that one boils down to the teacher. How do we arrange them in group? Do you give them the group assignment? Do you give them the group work to do together? Because we want them to come together in a learning process. Therefore, there is a good relationship with our teacher, relationship with our students, and with other students in the class is very paramount to have a effective teacher. Number three is that provide positive feedback. Provide positive feedback. Okay, what is the meaning of that one? You let them know if they are doing well. You let them know if they are doing bad as well, and also encourage them if they are not doing well. Therefore, you cannot expect, sometimes you cannot expect 100% from your students. But the moment they are not doing it right way, you let them know that this the one you are missing. This is the one you are missing. Let them know the feedback so that they can know what to do in the next one. And number four is that have a high student success rate. Have a high student success rate. As in, your mentality should not just be, oh, I'm satisfied with the just above. No, you should work at, that's what we call inclusive learning. How our students are performing. If they are not performing to expectation, what are we doing? Are we creating more time? Do we meet them one-on-one? Do we have time to know the challenges? Why are they not coping in your, because the success of your students is your own success. A teacher is good once your students are performing better. You are excellent teacher once your students are performing excellently. You cannot say, oh, I am a very good teacher when your students are having bad grade. Therefore, the student success rate should be the one that will motivate you. Those one in A's and those one in B, those one in A plus, those one in C, what are you doing to motivate them to go to A, to go to B? Therefore, you should be the one, and one of the qualities of the teacher in an inclusive learning, you should not fold our hand and say, I'm okay with their performance. We should try harder so that all of them, if they are not at the same rate, but at some certain level, they are moving from one good grade to another. Not the same time, the first time, the second time, the third time. We need to be bothered. And the last one, we need to provide support for the students with and without learning disability. That is how to know the effective teacher in an inclusive learning. Now, I said one of those things that he or she need to know or to do is this. One, you must be caring. You must be caring. All these children, they are very sensitive in nature. If you have 10 children, it's only one that you monitor every day. It's only one that you always help with the food. The other one, when their food fall on the table, you are not care. No, they are sensitive. They are watching every seconds, every single minute. Whatever you do, they are watching. You must be caring. Number two is that you must be affectionate. You must be loving. You must love them. They cannot learn in an hostile environment. You must be affectionate to them. You must be friendly. Smile frequently. You are a teacher. You must smile frequently. I crack joke a lot because I teach mathematics and sometimes it's abstract. I crack joke a lot. I see this, it is multiply this one is removing this, that family is moving from one base and come to this, cut to the breed. And when they cut the sign will change. They will start laughing. You must be friendly. You must smile. Smile when you are teaching. When you frown, they too, they will lose focus in your teaching. And then the next one is that you must be soft spoken. Your word must not be heard all the time. The children, they don't like that situation. If you want them to learn adequately, you must be soft spoken. And also, you must be analytical of behavior and motive. Analyze your motive behind any action. If you want to punish, let the punishment. You should not punish outside whatever. You should be able to analyze what they have done before you give punishment. Which kind of punishment you want to give? What warrant that punishment? Let the child in question know what you have done wrong. Okay, your punishment is that you will have 5 minutes late when others are eating. You will not eat. You will not go out to play when others are playing because of this what you have done. Because you did not do that one, when they are playing, you deny that child of going out when others are going, and you ask them to stay back and do that assignment. That's a kind of punishment. And therefore, you should be able to analyze. You allow the child to know what he has done wrongly and the motive behind your action. And the next one is that he or she must be able to predict how another will act. We are parents in our class, and that is why we need to be observant, be sensitive enough. Therefore, you should know that the children are always children, and when somebody is reporting, you should predict what the other person will say about that person. With all these qualities, and the teacher, if the teacher can put on those qualities together, there will be a powerful.
Are you with us, Olayemi? Can you hear us? I think he is again facing network issues. We can wait for him one more minute. Let him join in again. Yes, you're back again. Can you hear me? Yes. Please start.
Hello? Oh, wow.
Yes,
This
I
thing.
can hear you, see you. Please let's start.
Yes, it's network. Sorry.
Yes, it's okay.
All right. Okay. Yes, I said he or she must be balanced in feelings of self-worth and self-regard. A teacher in an inclusive learning must be balanced in all feelings towards all the children in the class. And I must be sincere with you, majority of the teacher, they have their favorite. And the student, like I said, they are very sensitive. They watch us. And therefore, in an inclusive learning, where you don't want to separate any child from our learning environment, feelings towards any child. And if class, they should see you as somebody with radiant energy every day you enter their class. Let them see life in us when you enter the class. And you must be able to subordinate their own need and feelings for another benefit. And he or she must be easily depressed under the difficult circumstances. Yes, actually, human being, we are without errors. Yes, challenges on our own, but that challenges must not follow us to the classroom setting, because if you do, it will affect our students in the class, because they can read from our faces, they can read from our containers. Therefore, he or she must not be easily depressed under any difficult circumstances. They must see life in us while we are in the class, especially when we are in class, because it's a ministry. I want to tell you that teaching is a ministry, and when we are in the class, we should have another phase of teaching, because we are there to impart life. And if our faces and we are passing some difficulties, passing some challenges or circumstances that are not palatable, some people some students will not get it right, and therefore we need to shed that our challenges before we enter that class, or before you call to those children, so that at the end of the day they will not see difficulty in our faces, And that's if a teacher qualities, they will be able to strive very under the inclusive learning. And I want to say thank you for having me to talk about this inclusive learning, which is very effective. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olayemi. It was so powerful. We could see how passionate you are about the topic of inclusive teaching, and you gave.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Hello?
Yes, I
Yes.
can.
I
I
said
can.
thank you for having me to talk about this thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful discussion, and the talk was really powerful. We could see how passionate you are about the topic. And yes, we had some technical glitches, but that is something which is beyond our control. From all of us, we want to give you a small token of appreciation. Please allow me to present the screen. So this is for you, Olayemi, and thank you for
Okay.
this wonderful power pack talk. And we could get some
Okay.
practical
You're welcome.
strategies and ideas from you to take it back in the classroom. Thank you so much. And yes, people were waiting for your talk, and finally they could hear from you. And yes, for the participants, we have a small form that can be filled at the end so that you can get the certificate. I'll be dropping the link in the YouTube and you can just fill that form. And thank you so much, Olayemi, for joining us all the way from Nigeria. We had participants from India, Pakistan, and Jasmine had joined us, I think from Philippines or Malaysia, I'm not
Okay.
sure about it. So yes, it was a great talk, and we could relate with you that how important it is for our teachers
Thank you.
to
You're
be
welcome.
inclusive. And yes, people are appreciating you. Jasmine wrote that great example of
Yeah.
collaboration patience. Thank you so much, Jasmine.
Great, great, great.
She also said that she agreed that a safe environment is very important for all of us. And Yasin is loving the topic from Bangladesh. So it was a great, example of how we all came together to discuss a vital
Thank
component
you.
of teaching and learning that yes, we need to be inclusive
Thank
in
you.
all our approaches. Thank you so much. We'll see you all next week. Next week, we will be having a demo from Stand Lab, and they will be
Okay.
demonstrating a virtual science lab. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you so much. Have a good night from Bangladesh. Take care. Would you like to
Okay.
conclude, Olayemi, saying a goodbye to
Okay.
the viewers, those who were waiting for you? Would you like to conclude by saying a
Yeah.
final thank you?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you for everyone for having me, giving me opportunity to speak about this inclusive learning, which is very effective. Thank you, my host. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.